Shopping for a new horse, I like to think of like dating. You have to think about not only the growth potential of where this relationship could go with a new horse into the future, but also the things that you really can't change and they're non-negotiables to you. We might be shopping for looks or career status or temperament or any number of other things. But the biggest difference between dating and looking for a new horse is that when you are dating somebody, you can go on as many dates as you want. And if it doesn't work out, you can just break up with them and never see them again. But with a horse, you get one trial ride often, and then you have to basically get married and purchase the horse and take them home. And if it doesn't work out, now you have this horse that you don't know what to do with and you have to find a new home for, which we don't have to do when we're dating. Thank goodness. If you are about to go through this big adventure and you are going horse shopping, I highly recommend you watch this video first. I'm going to give you some invaluable tips that I have learned not only from my own experience horse shopping, but also from helping lots of clients find their horses as well. Welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Ruby. I'm a whole horsemanship coach, which means that I help horses and humans be the healthiest that they can be and develop the best, deepest connection and relationship that they possibly can. In this video, we're going to jump into some of the biggest things that I encounter with horse shopping that I think are going to help equip you on your journey. The first is to know what you can't change. I think about this a little bit like shopping for a house. There are certain things that you just can't change. You can't change the property size. You can't change the location. You can't change the square footage that much. Maybe you could do an add-on, but realistically. But you could remodel the kitchen if it's in budget, or you could change the color of the walls, or maybe update the flooring. So there's some things with your horse that you can change with training. Some bad habits or some athletic potential can be modified with the help of a skilled trainer. But there are certain things that you just can't change. Lameness or soundness issues, certain temperament issues, behavioral issues, or if you don't have the help of a skilled trainer, a lot of those training things are also going to be out of reach. So think about that realistically before you go horse shopping and have a list of non-negotiables and also a list of deal breaker items. The other thing that I like to kind of think about is you can have a horse that's cheap, that's mentally or physically sound, or that's pretty. And you can pick two of these, but all three pretty much don't exist in the real world. And I guess I should say it does exist, but they're like so rare. It's pretty much like finding a unicorn. So I wouldn't put your eggs in that basket. And just be realistic. If you are looking for a horse that's really pretty and has really great athletic ability and is mentally and physically sound because of that athletic ability, you are going to have to pay more money and you're not going to get the cheap bargain horse. And you should probably expand your budget as much as is comfortable for you and your lifestyle. If you don't have a big budget, you might have to compromise on either training and like their athletic ability or on looks. And that might just have to be okay with you if your budget is a little bit lower. So thinking about those things before you go horse shopping is really important. Number two is to be critical of ads. If an ad says that a horse is spirited, that often means that they are going to like turn and buck and take off and bolt with you at like the tiniest breeze in the wind. Not always, but sometimes that's what that means. If it says that they're dead broke, sometimes that means that they're so tired and lazy that they're like an absolute kick ride just to get them to even like walk away from the gate. So be really critical, try to read between the lines, and maybe even have a more experienced horse shopper look over an ad before you even make the appointment to go see the horse. The third thing kind of plays off that second one, which is to take a trainer or an experienced friend with you. I cannot emphasize this enough. There are things that a highly experienced horse person can spot that the horse shopper, even if you are also a highly experienced horse person, might accidentally overlook because you are falling in love with this horse. So one example of this was recently I had a client that sent me an ad, and on paper this horse looked quite perfect. It's like didn't spook, tied, trailered, stood for the farrier, stood for the vet, it's been in parades, kids safe, all these things, right? But the horse was free. And to me, that sends off alarm bells. Either the horse is like, has some kind of crippling illness that they're going to like eventually die from, and that's why they're free, or there's some major behavioral issue that they're not disclosing in the ad. So I did a little bit of research and I dug around and found out that this horse has a habit of flipping over on people when he gets scared, which Doesn't happen very often, but it's happened enough that he's hurt enough people, and that's why the horse is free. And this family was going to buy the horse for their children. So I'm so glad we didn't even end up going to look. But that's the kind of thing that happens out there. And you can't blame people for not putting that in the ad, because of course no one's going to come look at a horse if you say the horse flips over. But it is really important to have that experienced horse person to help you through this process. I've also heard of people purchasing horses only to find out that they were drugged when they went for their for their initial rides, or to have a horse that was clean on everything on their pre-purchase, only to find out that they had a massive brain tumor 2 weeks after they brought them home that was definitely there before, and the seller's own personal vet conveniently didn't notice it. Things like that happen all the time. It's horrible. I wish everyone was more honest, but the fact is that it's just not always the case, and it's really helpful to have a more experienced horse person there with you to spot those red flags if that's something that you might overlook accidentally. Number 4 is to try your best to negotiate for the best terms in your sale, including a pre-purchase exam and a trial period. Depending on your price point, this might not be totally possible. A lot of times under a certain price, certain vets won't even do a pre-purchase exam because they feel like it's not worth their time. And a lot of sellers are not interested in doing a trial period under a certain price of horse. But if you can negotiate these things, I find it's really, really helpful, because again, often we get one test ride on a horse and then you have to decide if this is your horse or not. And that's a lot of pressure to put on one single ride. So if you can negotiate a pre-purchase exam, which is when the vet comes out and generally checks for lameness, they might check their eyes. They're going to look at their teeth and make sure that they're the age that the seller says that they are, and other kind of general health stuff like that, just to make sure that there's no glaring health issues before you take this horse home. And then secondly, a trial period, meaning you get to take the horse home for a week or a month or whatever the period is that you negotiate. And if at the end of that time you find that the horse is really not the right fit for you, then you can send the horse back to the seller for a full refund, and like no questions asked. You both get to move on and find a better fit for both you and the horse. If you can negotiate those two things, those are big game changer items. If you enjoyed this video and you are looking forward to bringing home your new horse, I highly recommend you check out some of my other videos, which I will link below, about very similar topics with your new horse, and also my first year with the new horse course, which I have poured so much of my time and effort into compiling all of the answers to all of the top questions and stumbling blocks that I see not only among my own clients, but also in the online space during their first year of horse ownership. And this includes everything from finding professionals like vets, farriers, trainers, etc., where your horse should live, how much to budget for your time and your money and your energy for your new horse, major medical troubleshooting and problem solving, etc., etc., etc. So much more. It's very in-depth. There's a lot of content there, and I really hope that you find that as useful as I feel it is, because I put so much effort into it, and I really feel like it's a valuable resource. So please check that out below. And until the next video, please hug your horse for me.